Welcome to the episode 11 of Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, I'm going to be breaking down not one, not two, but all three episodes of The Anonymous. It is a brand new show that kicked off with a 3-episode premiere on the USA Network. Episodes will air simultaneously across Bravo and SYFY the night of the premiere and repeat in prime time on USA throughout the week. Still trying to get word. It looks like the show is going to be available over a week later on Peacock. But what is The Anonymous, you ask? It's from the producers of the Traitors and The Circle. This new series is a strategic competition played in two worlds, the real world and the anonymous mode. 12 players live together, collaborating for a chance at a $100,000 prize while secretly competing in an anonymous online hideouts in a high-stakes game of deception. Players will scheme, lie, manipulate their way to victory to maintain their secret identities. Folks, this is crazy. I love the concept. I love the execution. So without further ado, let's stop wasting the time and let's dive right into these episodes. Of course, we get a little bit of an introductory period, right? We get everybody kind of mixing and mingle. We got some professional poker players. We got some gamers. We've got different people in all walks of life. Obviously, we have Xavier from reality TV. We've got Nina from Survivor. We got Andy from the Fire Festival. And then we've got some of these larger than life personalities across the board that are just getting their feet wet. Danny, who is our interface, has arrived to speak to the team. Each day, someone will be eliminated and leave the game for good. First off, love that. Love the aspect of the game being played on a day-to-day episodic thing instead of being dragged out for no reason, right? Every move means something because every day you have an opportunity of going home. That to me, high stakes as it can be, right? Become the last person standing and you could win up to $100,000. In order to progress, they must be able to live a double life. One half of the game is played in the round house and the other in the square house. They will play the other half of the game where they'll be played in. So obviously, like as I mentioned, half the game we're playing face to face, half the game we're playing behind the keyboard. Pretty wild, you know what I mean? Anonymous mode will be mode in their own hideouts where they can communicate behind the anonymous digital handle. The name of the game is to stay anonymous. Each member of the cast gets to pick their own handles. We get a little montage of how this all unfolds, and I really enjoyed some of these, how they kind of dissected why they picked this and why they think this would have been something that might not have matched up with their current character, or it would have, didn't pick this instead of that. So Tyrina picked the truck, Jack picked the football, Andy picked the butterfly, Christopher picked the donut, Casey picked the shark, Sydney the witch hat, Lily the pizza, Dylan the alien, Xavier the fish, Robbie picked dice, Marcel picked the dollar sign, and Nina picked the popcorn. They find out that they're taking part in their first challenge, which is happening face to face. Tomorrow night will be the first elimination. Challenges are for increasing the pot and giving them a chance to win safety from elimination. This episode's challenge is called Memory Falls. One by one, they will memorize a sequence of their digital handles. Once they replicate it, they must press them in order. They must decide which order they play in. For every correct answer, they will bank $250. Whoever gets the longest sequence will be safe from elimination. Now, in picking the people, we have 12 people. So there's I think it was 12, obviously 12 sequences, right? So each person, so if Andy went first, right? He threw, I'll be number one. He only had to remember one digital handle, right? So he didn't have to remember 50, 10 people's things, you know what I mean? I don't, he kind of took the easy way in, you know what I mean? And some people mentioned that early on, but all you have to do is remember one, hey, I added $250 to the pot, but all you remember was one digital handle. So some of the people that picked the 10, 11, 12, pretty crazy. I feel like this was a fun little challenge. It was interesting to see the ones that were really confident actually really do good. while others kind of struggled. Marcel fumbled the bag as the first person to lose on the 7 slot. Leading up to that spot, they had banked all of that money, basically leading up to that. Sydney was kind of next to fumble the bag. It like Robbie to me like was a player, like knocked it out of the ballpark, getting 10 in a row. I will say this one thing I will say though, once you do so well, you have to be strategic in how you play the first game because you can put a target on your back really, really fast if you play really well. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't have surprised me to see, oh, you look at that and you're like, yeah, thanks for adding money to the pot, but you might actually be a player. Like memorizing things, memorizing sequences. We find out later on that's part of the game. Part of the game is remembering who are trying to tie these digital handles to people. So this to me is like one of those like warning signs that you kind of get from somebody, right? Xavier fumbled the bag, only leaving 5 seconds for Chris to go. Chris didn't even get a chance to play the game, really, but Robbie is safe from elimination. Out of the $19,500 they could bag, they got $9,500. Back in the house right now. We start to see a little bit of strategy come to fruition. Like it a lot. Let's get the game going, right? And he starts telling everyone who he really is. Everyone kind of freaks out. Xavier comes out and says he was on TV and won Big Brother. I think this was terrible. Like, terrible idea. Like, you cannot reveal, first off, if you announce that you're on a show, let alone you want it, that means, hey, this person doesn't need the money. Let's get rid of this person. This person becomes a liability. If I'm in that game, I'm 1000% telling them, hey, we're getting Xavier out of here. He doesn't need the money. On top of that, he's already won a strategic based game where voting out and stuff like that is part of the fruition. I'm out on Xavier as a game player. Nina, though, obviously being Sandra's mom and winning Survivor, or daughter, and winning Survivor herself, kept it a secret. Smart game plan, okay? Marcel says he plays video games for a living, which again, Chris sees that as a potential as a game player. Very true. Strategic. Again, you have to pay attention to these things, right? Danny has arrived for them to enter anonymous mode again, and each person has to pick a person to be up for elimination. Later today, they will be a test who thinks that lies, who they think lies behind each handle that person is. At the best, remaining anonymous will become the anonymous and have the power to eliminate to an at-risk player. So basically, if you're doing a good job and not a lot of people are matching you to your handle, you have an opportunity to be the anonymous. Okay. Chat starts out. What I love is it's kind of like the circle. They have the circle chat going on, right? So the circle chat little thing is, and everybody starts talking shit behind their digital handles. So it's kind of cool. Like I really liked how that aspect of the game really plays is like you're talking shit, nobody knows who it is. You know what I mean? Normally in the circle, it's like everybody knows who everybody is. But in this, no. Lily got called out because she was the quote unquote quiet one of the house. Lily can't really defend herself because then, of course, that outs yourself. So if you attack somebody, you can't come out and be like, yeah, no, don't, you can't say that about me because you can't. Xavier kind of poses as Lily to kind of get the idea of throwing her out. Nina exposes Sydney as the loudest. Lily said nobody is louder than Dylan, which is true, and he's hilarious. We like right at the gate, they were ready to go. Like this aspect of gameplay definitely adds a layer of cutthroat and backstabbing that we really haven't seen. And what I loved here is we have a dynamic between Jack and Andy who are like playing BFFs, and he's like throwing Andy under the bus the entire time. It's crazy because he's saying like he doesn't need the money. All right, real quick, who voted for who? All right, Robbie and Andy voted for Lily. Tyrina, Nina, Casey, Dylan, Xavier voted for Sydney. Marcel voted for Dylan, and he was not happy. Jack voted for Andy. Lily voted for Christopher. Sydney voted for Jack. Chris voted for Marcel, and like Sydney's pissed, right? Sydney is pissed. Now, this is one of the interesting factors about the show. Okay. This kind of reminds you a little bit of the challenge, the show, The Challenge. If you have one ball in the challenge, you still have an opportunity to go to do the face off in order for elimination. So if you have your name called just one time, you are up for elimination. That to me, loved it. Loved it. Love that aspect. Love the idea. Love the concept. 1000%. But Sydney, Lily, Jack, Marcel, Dylan, Chris, Andy all receive votes, meaning they're at risk to get voted out. They have 1 hour until the test begins, and now they mix and mingle. Sydney did not win the anonymous, followed by Andy, Chris, Dylan, Casey, Robbie, Marcel, Tyrina, Nina, Xavier are not the anonymous, so it's down to Jack and Lily. And of course, we get a cliffhanger going into episode 2. All right, in no particular order. So they don't reveal who won the anonymous quite yet. They will in a second, but we see that Sydney, Lily, Jack, Marcel, Dylan, Chris, and Andy are, of course, up for elimination. In no particular order, the players still in the game: Marcel, Jack, Dylan, and Christopher. Means it coming down to Lily, Andy, and Sydney. And our first person to go home is Sydney. That, to me, was crazy, right? We find out that Jack was the anonymous this week. And he saw her connection with Chris as a potential threat. Like, right, exactly. We got 12 people. We started building alliances around here. Then I'm going to start questioning what's going on. So you have power of 2, and who knows what else, who else might be in this group. We're balancing things out here. We found she reveals that obviously her digital handle was a wizard. And of course, now we have some gameplay. So Dylan, Nina, and Casey seem to have a little bit of alliance here. It's time for the second challenge. The second challenge, there will be their next chance to be safe from the next elimination and increase the prize pot. It's called All About the Game. They must throw the balls through this structure. Spinning structure has like the little, like literally the size of a baseball hole that you have to throw through the hole. Each of them have a chance of being, for each ball that they get in, I think it's like $50, I think it was. But each person has their name next to a hole. If their ball lands inside that hole, you can block somebody. So if you get blocked, it doesn't matter how many balls you threw in there, you will get eliminated. I mean, you can't not eliminate. You won't be able to win safety for the night. So some say they won't go for the blocks. Some others say they won't or will. It might, to me, like it felt like a little bit too early in the game to try to do some strategy like this. But Dylan hit Jack's hole, blocking him. He said it was an accident. 433 balls landed in, and they added 22,500 to the pot. The pot now sits at $32,150. All right. 66 balls each from Marcel and Jack, both landed the highest amount of balls. However, Jack was blocked from being safe from elimination, as well as Marcel was. So Jack was accidentally knocked out by Dylan, and then Marcel was knocked out by Nina. So the winner of the safety with 51 balls was, nope, not Nina, even though she was next up. She was blocked by Tyrina, who speaks out saying she did it by accident. So Marcel could have won, Jack could have won, Nina could have won, but neither one of them won because somebody threw a ball in a hole. That being said, Xavier is safe from tonight's elimination with 47 balls. Whew, I loved it. I love this aspect of the game. Kind of came as a shock to some of the people. Andy had the lowest amount of balls with only 11. Dog, Andy, man, we're gonna need you to step up the game, bro. We're gonna need you to step up the game a little bit here, dude. Anonymous chat time. Marcel is getting thrown into the foray for being a good game player. Nina, Lily, and Andy all pile on to say that he is a threat. Robbie's name is brought into the conversation, and she makes a move to clear her name in a weird way. Jack is now throwing Andy under the bus again, but it's time for voting time, folks. More voting. All right. 4 votes for Marcel, Andy, Dylan, Lily, Xavier. We had 2 votes for Robbie, Nina and Tyrina. Robbie and Chris both voted again for Lily. Jack and Casey voted for Andy. And of course, Jack did it again. And then Marcel is the icing on the cake by voting for Casey. So Marcel, Robbie, Lily, Andy, Casey are available to be eliminated. Um, Jack is trying to pitch Robbie as the football, but Nina and Casey figured out that Robbie is the dice, meaning that that she can't be the football. So Jack is back at the drawing board. Jack is stabbing this man right to this face. Like, Andy, come on, bro. Pay attention. Wake up. Jack is trying to throw you under the bus. It is test time again. The following people are not the anonymous: Marcel, Robbie, Chris, Dylan, Andy, Nina, Xavier, Casey, and Tyrina. Meaning it's either Jack and Lily again. These two have like figured shit out, and people have not figured them out, right? So the people that are safe are Marcel, Robbie, Lily, Andy, and Casey. No, sorry. Who will be next to join Sydney? Players that are safe are Lily. This means I think when I watched this, I thought she won. Means it was down, and Andy and Robbie were safe. This means it's down to Casey and Marcel. Of course, we got a cliffhanger. The second person going home was Casey, folks. Oh my God. Like, that's what, to me, what I am kind of shocked by. Like, this brings the interesting dynamic of you just had one vote. She got one vote and was eliminated. Jack went back-to-back anonymouses. He thought Casey was a game player and would be a problem later on. Kicked her out. Wow. Like, that to me is like, it's one thing to have 3 or 4 votes and then be kicked out. Like, all right, like, you had some people on you, but one vote. And it was what's crazy is it was by the person that you were up for elimination against. She reveals that she was the shark, and it shocked everyone. Everyone breaks down that if you get one vote, you could go home. It's insane. Chris thinks Tyrina is the anonymous. Xavier, Chris, Robbie are talking about adding Jack and Nina to their team to work on trying to figure out how they can advance even further. Xavier pitches it to Jack, and he said he's in, while Chris approaches Nina, and she's 50-50 of it. But we got 10 people left. If you have 5 people in alliance, that could be a huge shift moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Jack says Nina looks like a young Sandra. Uh-oh. I wonder why, playa. Chris is caught up in not liking Lily and Tyrina being a combo and wants to get rid of them. Like, it's funny to me listening to him complain about somebody being in alliance while he's in alliance. It was just kind of funny. In the chat, Dice and Alien start fighting, and Alien jumps in to call Dice out to be Tyrina, which was hilarious. LT is dropped in the chat, and it's for Lily and Tyrina, and this is like hilarious. They're doing their best to try to point figures. Everyone is playing the game. Tyrina is just sitting back laughing in the backdrop, knowing that she can't say anything. Jack drops in, if you want to get Tyrina out today, don't forget Andy tomorrow. My dude Jack is just like laying it thick on Andy. It's classic. I like his consistent focus on one player and never wavering from it is truly something that might have to be studied in the future for this game. It's voting time, folks. We get another vote. 3 episodes, 3 votes. All right, the Xavier, Chris, Nina, and Jack voted for Tyrina. First time Jack didn't vote for Andy. It's hilarious. And it was the first time Chris had not voted for Lily. Marcel, Robbie voted for Lily. Robbie voted for Lily for the 3rd time in a row. And then Dylan and Andy voted for Marcel, both again. Lily voted for Chris this time. A little spicy action there. Tyrina voted for Andy. Nice gameplay by Tyrina, because the back's against the wall, and seeing Andy's name pop up just one time back to back, definitely interesting. You know what I'm saying? So, that being said, Tyrina, Lily, Marcel, Andy, and Chris are up for elimination. And folks, we already know what happens here. You know what I mean? We're worried. We're worried. Who's going to be eliminated? Let's talk about it. Oh no, we don't know. But let's see here. But like, if Lily wins, Chris was going to be out that door, right? You know what I mean? She's been close back-to-back rounds. Post chat, Tyrina is not happy. Xavier plays the game very wisely, goes over and hugs her, and kind of listens to her being upset about what happened. Um, Danny chimes in for them to kind of gather to dial. It's happening. What's happening? What's happening? Tyrina, Lily, Marcel, Andy, and Chris have the chance to be saved, but they have to do it in front of everyone in a game called Face Off, where they have to bluff them. There are 5 boxes in front of them. Inside one box, it says safe, and the rest say at risk. One by one, they must pick a box. Whoever ends the game with the safe box will not be on the block anymore. Twist, twist alert, twist alert. Like, period. Great twist. Again, you can't just have a copy and paste game here. So Marcel's up first. He goes first. He tells everyone he got safe. Everybody kind of looked at him and just was like, nah, bro. Andy's turn. He said he can do a new one or steal Marcel's. I love that idea. So whenever you get up to go, you don't have to take one of the new boxes. You can steal somebody else's box. But he takes a new one. Tyrina's turn. She takes a new box. I thought she had it. I really did. I thought she did. Lily's turn. She picked a new one and said she was going to keep it between her and God. I'm like a bird. And Chris said, birds sing. And she said, only they also fly away. Hilarious moment. These two can't stand each other. I love it. Chris is last, so he has a chance to steal a box. He takes the last remaining box. Nobody tried to steal anybody. Pretty wild. Lily, Andy, Chris, all at risk. Pulled out risk, so it's either Tyrina or Marcel. Marcel is safe. He picked that shit from the beginning. Like, what a bluff. What a call out. He said, it's mine. I've got it. Period. So it's Lily, Tyrina, Andy, and Chris that are up for elimination. So who's not the anonymous? Andy, Lily. The first time she's not in the final 2. Dylan, Marcel, Chris. Jack is not it now. Robbie and Nina. So the 2 that it could potentially be is Tyrina and Xavier. Of course, we get a freaking cliffhanger before we get to watch another episode. It made me very, very mad. But we have Andy, Chris, Tyrina, and Lily on the block. So the question is, obviously, we saw who voted for who, right? So Xavier voted for Tyrina. So if Tyrina wins, or if Xavier wins, pretty strong chance that he eliminates Tyrina, right? However, if Tyrina wins, who does she eliminate? Okay? Because I don't think she goes after Andy. I think Andy was just a ploy. So to me, I feel like she eliminates I think she eliminates Chris. I don't think Lily makes any point for any reason for her to knock ass. I really feel like she eliminates Chris. That's going to be who I think. Xavier knocks out Tyrina, and Tyrina will eliminate Chris if all possible. So I don't know. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below. What did you think about Anonymous as a collective whole? Will you be tuning in every week? I know I will. This was exciting. This was fun. It was different. It was unique. I really, really dug this quite a bit. I hope you tune in each every week. I'm going to be having exit interviews with all the cast members that have been eliminated from the show. They'll be right here on the YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Love and Reality Podcast. I'll talk to you guys soon.